Jennifer Ragazzo, functional wellness coach, and I'm coming on today to talk to you guys about how I lost 8 pounds in a little over 2 months doing practically nothing. I know. You want to know my secret, right? How can we do nothing and lose weight? It took me years and years to be able to grasp this whole concept, even doing what I do and coaching other people with their own health. So let me give you a little context for my 8-pound weight loss and why it was such a big victory for me and why it was honestly so mind-blowing and has really driven home for me the importance of giving our body the opportunity to rest. So I was someone who ran hard. I ran hard all through my 20s, through my 30s, into my early 40s. And I literally ran. I was a runner. I would run half marathons. It was nothing for me to go pounds out 10 miles on a Saturday morning. I would do CrossFit classes when my kids were really little. I got 2 hours of child watch at the YMCA and I took advantage of every minute of that. And for me, working out it wasn't just about my physical body, it also was my way of relieving stress, and it was an outlet for me to exert control as well. So it was really ingrained in me to exercise 6 days a week. I would give myself that one day off. But amidst all of my working out, I also was running in my life. I was a mom, a very busy mom for a long time, taking care of little kids. And as they get older, I went back to school. I started my own business and I just kept piling on what I know to call stressors. But I didn't see them for a long time. When I hit 40, it was really perplexing to me because that was the time I had just started my coaching practice. I was busy with that, busy with the kids, and again, exercising really hard. And my body started to exhibit these symptoms to me that were perplexing. My thyroid stopped functioning optimally again. I started having some gut issues. I started waking up at night and having insomnia, and I started to gain weight. The last half marathon that I ran, I'll never forget, I gained 5 pounds, and I was burning more calories than I was eating, and it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense. So I knew enough to try to step back to what I thought was giving my body the opportunity to have easier, more gentle workouts. But I still lifted weights pretty heavy. I would do HIIT and I would go to 1 yoga class a week, but I exercised 6 days a week because it was so ingrained in me. And again, there was that control factor. So here is how God really spoke to me and drove it home to me, guys, that when our body is in a healing mode and when we are under stress, and I'm talking long periods of stress, when we're in a fight or flight mode, less is actually more. Less is more. So I had a pretty formidable surgery a couple months ago back in May. Right before I had that surgery, God really wanted to make sure that I stayed still, and I broke my toe, really pretty bad. Couldn't put my weight on my left foot at all. And 3 days later, I had a surgery that had me in a lot of pain and on my back for the first 2 weeks, and really needing to honor the recovery process and not exercise at all for 6+ weeks. I couldn't even walk. It took me the solid 6 weeks of that physical recovery to be able to start to even walk slowly again. My diet was pretty much the same. I ate incredibly healthy during that time. I leaned in to really practicing mindfulness activities and deep breathing and prayer and journaling and gratitude practice. And I would spend a lot of time sitting outside in nature and just absorbing what was around me. So I was doing a lot of very calming activities. And I started to notice that my clothes were getting looser. But I wasn't moving. And my mind's going, okay, it doesn't make sense because I'm burning less calories than when I was exercising every single day. I'm eating the same thing and I'm losing weight. And lo and behold, it started to unfold, and that led to 8 pounds. And once I was able to start moving again, I started walking, slowly walking, building up my endurance with walking. And I've just since then been doing some very targeted, slow, intentional movements that are just using my whole body, and I'm engaging my core, because what I have learned is what I'm teaching you here, that our adrenal glands, they help keep our body in balance, and they do this through hormones, and one of those hormones is called cortisol. So cortisol is released from our adrenal glands when we're under any type of stress, when we're in more of that fight or flight mode. And I'm not vilifying cortisol. Without cortisol, we would be dead. But we're not meant to live in that fight or flight mode 24/7. But in today's day and age, we live in fight or flight way more than we reside in that calm, rested, parasympathetic state. Even when we're happy, our minds are going and going and going, and we're thinking of all the things that we have to do, and we stay up late and we don't take time for mindfulness, for sitting and praying and journaling and deep breathing and getting outside in nature, because we're busy. We're connected 24/7 because of this phone here and our computers. And in the last year and a half especially, we're under more stress, and we're staring into our computers, and we're Zooming with people, and our meetings are going first thing in the morning and really late at night. So this puts us into that fight or flight more than we are in that parasympathetic state. And some of the symptoms that you might experience when you are living in this in a prolonged period of time is weight gain and weight loss resistance. I hear that a lot from my clients. I experienced it myself. I just shared that with you. It took me having a broken toe and a pretty painful surgery that landed me on the couch to really be able to comprehend how much rest our body needs when it's in a healing mode, when we are in a recovery phase. And I had been recovering for years from adrenal fatigue, so to speak. But my body really needed for me to give it true rest and learn how to reside in a very different state. So weight gain, weight loss resistance, fatigue, feeling wired and tired. That's a very big one, where we try and fall asleep at night. We're so tired, but we feel wired and we can't. Another one is that people will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're up for hours. That's a sign that we are in that fight or flight too much, that our adrenals, the cortisol is dysregulated. And that's really not an adrenal issue, but that's an HPA axis issue, and that I'll talk to you about another time. Brain fog, anxiety, these are all things. We get sick often. So these are all signs, guys, that slowing down, your body is inviting you into this period where it's asking you to slow down. It's asking for you to go into more of a restorative state, where you are spending more time working on your stress relief, restoration, calming. This is where yoga, but restorative yoga, not heavy sweating, hot yoga classes, but restorative yoga. And when your body is ready, Pilates, where you're connecting mind to body, might be a better choice for you for exercise. I hear it all the time, where women lose weight by simplifying, by stopping the spin classes and just walking and doing some light yoga classes. So I wanted to share that little story with all of you here today to encourage you and inspire you to really listen and pay attention. And within that too, there's a whole element of trust. So we trust as we let go of what's no longer serving us, and we step into a place of acknowledging what the body is asking us for. So if your body is experiencing any of those things, I highly encourage you to explore that whole concept of less is more. So how can you bring more